I'm Mark Cunningham with Grace Property Management and Real Estate, and welcome to our crash course on how to self-manage your rental property in 10 minutes. Now, I'm a professional property manager. We've been doing this for 40 years, but I don't believe that every real estate investor should hire a professional property management company. A lot of individuals want to do it themselves. If you want to do it themselves, we're going to walk through the 10 critical elements in 10 minutes that you need to know to self-manage your property. Now, obviously, we can't go deep on this, but these are things you need to be aware of. So, I'm going to talk fast. We're going to go through this in 10 minutes and see how far we get. Number one, insurance. When you buy your rental property, you need to make sure you call your insurance agent and convert your policy to a landlord's policy. That's typically the language that's used. I want a landlord's policy. That landlord's policy is going to cover things like liability, right? If your tenant slips and falls and breaks their leg, it's going to cover you in that. You also want to make sure you have a rider for loss of rent, meaning if the property burns to the ground, the insurance company is going to pay you the rent that you would have expected to collect until the property gets rebuilt. Insurance is huge. Tenants are very litigious in this day and age. Have strong insurance in place. That's number one. Number two, what are the rent-ready standards, right? So you've got your property insured and you're ready to rent it out. When should you start advertising? What should it look like? You need to remember this. The quality of a property is directly proportional to the quality of the tenant it will attract. Therefore, don't start showing and advertising your property when it looks like junk. If you've got paint cans all over the place and cleaning supplies everywhere, don't show it yet. Just wait. It's not going to hurt you to wait another couple days to get it 100% rent ready. Now, Colorado has some specific rent ready standards required for tenants, so you need to be aware of those things. But you want it to be looking really, really good. Tenants are picky. It's a hot market for landlords, but tenants are picky. So you want to make sure you've got things like fresh paint. Make sure that the carpet is professionally cleaned upon move-in. Cleaning is the big thing you want to do. You want to also make sure that there's no safety hazards. Make sure your smoke detectors are installed. Make sure CO2 detectors or CO detectors are installed. It's required by state law. So be aware of those things to get it rent ready. Number three, advertising. How do I advertise? Should you put a sign in the yard? Absolutely. Should you put it out on Craigslist? Absolutely. Put it on Zillow? Yes. Zillow does start charging now, I believe, for those ads. The more marketing you can do, the better. You want to get it out there into all of the different places that you can market. Put as many pictures as you can. Do a video. Upload your video. Marketing is a big deal, and as this rental market slows, advertising is going to be even more important to make sure that your prospective tenants are finding the property. All right, so number four, applicant screening. So you advertise the property, and in comes an applicant. An applicant says, hey, this is great. I want it. Well, what do? As a self-managing landlord? You want to give them a rental application, have them fill out the rental application. Now, how do you get a credit report on them? You're going to need to contract with a credit reporting agency, and this is a little bit sticky. Contract with the credit reporting agency to be able to pull a background report. You're going to look at their rental history. You're going to look at their credit history. Yes, call their landlord. Look at their eviction history, sexual predator background check, FBI background check. You want to go deep on this. This is the key to the whole thing. If you get a great tenant in place, you're never going to need a guy like me, a property manager, to do anything. If you get a bad tenant in place, that's where it gets tough. So go hard on this. Now, you got to be cautious here, though, because Colorado, state of Colorado, as well as the federal government, govern what you can and cannot take into consideration on a rental application. This is where fair housing comes into consideration. The state of Colorado says you can't go back more than a certain number of years in looking at things like criminal background. You cannot go back more than a certain number of years in looking at their credit or their eviction history. So be aware of that. If you deny someone because they had bad criminal more than 5 years ago, you could be breaking law. You got to know that law. We don't have time to go into the law, but this is the key aspect of that. Number five, your lease. So you approve the tenant, and now you need to sign a lease. Where do you get the lease? Don't go to Google and Google lease agreement and then download some goofy lease. You need to talk to an attorney, talk to a professional property management company to get a solid lease. Because if something goes wrong between you and your tenant, it's going to come back to what the lease agreement says. Now, there's a lot of clauses that are important to have in your lease agreement. We can't go through them all. That's why you need to make sure you use an attorney to make sure it's up to date with Colorado law. Colorado just passed 4 new tenant-friendly laws, things that your lease agreement should address. Give the tenant to sign the lease. If they have a pet, you want a pet addendum that you put in place as well. I know we're going fast. Let me pause for one quick second and say that this whole video thing is sponsored by Grace Property Management, right? That's our company. So if you're like, okay, I'm already done. I'm already freaking out. This is not what I signed up for. we're happy to help, right? If you self-manage, great. Well, we're happy to help you there. If you want full service management, we can do that as well. Rentgrace.com is our website. We've got a lot of free investor information as well, so check us out. We're happy to assist should you decide that you don't want to go this route. All right, here we go. Back to number 6, lease enforcement. You signed the lease. You've collected your security deposit. The tenant's in place. Now, how do you enforce the lease? Well, the easiest way to make sure you're enforcing the lease is to do a periodic walk on the property. Now, you need to respect your tenant. You can't be in there every month walking through the property, but at least, at a minimum, you want to get into that property 4, 5, 6 months after the tenant's moved in. Let them know you're coming. Schedule with them to just do a periodic walk of the property. And you're looking for major lease violation issues, right? If there's no pets and they snuck in a pet, that's a big deal. So look for the little doggy dish in the corner. If they've moved other people in and they weren't on the lease, you need to be aware of that. Now, if they do violate the lease, if they break the lease, what do? Depending on what they do, you're probably going to need to bring an attorney in to determine how you're going to work this process. Now, if you are house hacking, right? So you've rented a property and you bought a property, you're just going to rent out a room. It gets a little bit stickier now because it's not just a normal lease. It's not leasing the whole property. It's only leasing one room of the property. That gets tricky, so you want to make sure your lease agreement is specific to renting a room, and you're going to really want to define this type of stuff, like whose property is who. So if you have to evict them, what is their personal property and what is not? Number 7, this is huge today, service animals. Oh, man. What do you do with service animals? It's a complex thing, but a couple things to know. Number 1, if somebody has a service animal and it's legit, you cannot charge additional pet deposit. Why? Because it's not a pet, it's a service animal. You cannot charge additional pet deposit. You cannot change the terms or conditions of the lease agreement in any way, and you can't say no. So if you're an individual and you're renting out a property and you're allergic to cats and your tenant wants to bring in a service cat, you're probably gonna have to allow the service cat. Now there's a lot of nuances to this, but service animals are where a lot of PMs get themselves in trouble because a tenant will say, well, I've got a service dog. You say, we don't take pets. You can't say that, right? There's a 3 criteria test. They have to have a disability. Does the pet offset the disability, and is it reasonable? It gets very sticky and complicated, but if you hear the word service animal or emotional support animal, bells better start going off in your head, because if you get that wrong, you're going to get sued and you're going to lose your property. So service animal or assistant, emotional support animal, you treat underneath this umbrella of service animal and emotional support animal type stuff. That's when you need to contact a professional property manager or a attorney to make sure you don't get that wrong. Number 8, maintenance standards. Once your tenant's in place, what do you have to repair and what do they have to repair? Your lease agreement should state the things that they have to repair. But even if your lease agreement says, hey, tenant, you got to repair everything, that's contrary to Colorado state law. The law of Colorado has what's called a habitability statute, habitability rules, meaning there are some things that the state of Colorado considers standard habitability that you as the landlord, you as the owner, must repair on behalf of your tenant. The basic concept is this. If you provide it, you must maintain it. If you put in a refrigerator and the refrigerator breaks, it doesn't matter what your lease says, you as the landlord have to fix it. You're required by law to fix it. If you supply a dishwasher and the dishwasher breaks, you have to fix it. So just go off that standard. If I provide it, I must maintain it. And you've got to maintain it quickly. So some of these new laws specifically relate to how quickly you have to respond. So for example, if your tenant calls and they suspect bed bugs, did you know that you legally have 24 hours to respond to that and tell them what you're going to do, when you're going to do it, and what the expected outcome is going to be? 24 hours, that's it. So if they call at midnight on a Friday night, you've got till midnight on Saturday night to get that email to them. That's hard, but that's the state law. You've got to make sure you are aware of those things and abide by those things. Number 9, security deposit return. So your tenant's been there, they've been in place for 12 months, they've been great, and they move out of the property and you want to give them their deposit back. Number 1, you cannot charge for wear and tear items. Now, what's wear and tear? It's kind of a judgment call, isn't it? But the state of Colorado is a very tenant-friendly state as it relates to security deposit returns. So if in doubt, you probably can't charge it. Did you know that most judges say average life expectancy for paint on a wall is 1 year? 12 months. That means if your tenants are in there for 12 months and the paint's kind of trashed, you probably can't charge them for that. If they've been there for more than 5 years, then that's the life expectancy for carpet. They can't go more than 5 on carpet. That's what judges say. The other important thing on security deposit returns is you only have either 30 or 60, I know it sounds complex, days to return their security deposit. If your lease doesn't say anything about how long you have to give their deposit back, you've got 30 days. If your lease specifically says, I've got 60 days, you've got 60 days. But if you miss that deadline, you are now liable for 3 times the amount of the deposit to give back to the tenant. So don't mess up on the security deposit return. All right, last thing, you've got to have a business mentality. Right? If you're going to self-manage and not hire somebody, you've got to have 3 things. You've got to have the time, you've got to have the temperaments, which is kind of this, right? Treat it like a business, and you've got to have the knowledge on these 3 things. We get calls almost every day from a prospective landlord who's thinking about hiring us, and they say this. They say, you know, I self-manage, put a tenant in, I try to be nice. I wish I had a nickel for every time I heard someone say, I try to be nice to my tenant. They haven't paid me rent in 60 days, and now they owe me all this money, and there's damages, and I don't know what to do, right? I get it. We want to be nice, but we also need to enforce the terms of the lease and be fair. So have a business mentality as you're managing your property. All right, we're just over 10 minutes. I apologize. If you've got questions on this, feel free to reach out. We're happy to help you whether you want to use us or not. Find a good property management company because they can just assist you when things go wrong. Grace Property Management, rentgrace.com is our website. We're happy to help, but you can self-manage if you want. Just make sure you know what you're getting yourself into. Rental property is a great investment. We love it. I've got some of it myself, but managing it well is the key to making it work.